Hey everybody, welcome to Campus Comics Cast, coming to you from Carbondale, Illinois, with special guests from the Campus Comics crew. And now, here's your host, the man with the previews in hand, Mike No. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Campus Comics Cast, coming to you from inside a considerably more well-lit Campus Comics. It's the first time we've done this since the time change this past week, so it is brighter outside, so it feels a little weird. But we're here to take you through the March previews catalog that, just FYI, let's get that out of the way. You need to have your orders in. If there's anything that catches your ear and you want to order it, I need to have my orders in by March 29th. So that's the deadline, so you got a couple of weeks to get it to us. And to help me go through the catalog tonight, we've got
Scott Reed.
Yeah, Dan Brown.
All right, and that's who we are today. So let's just jump right in. I guess, Dan, you said you had something at the front of the book?
Before we even really jump into the catalog part of the previews, there's a little section here called Scoop, which is sort of like, news and things like that. And they are talking about an upcoming auction, which, as we're recording this, is current, for a copy of Detective Comics number 27. It's graded at a 5.0.
What's special about that book?
That's the first appearance of Batman, and the most expensive book on my list, probably, that I will never own. I got curious about this, though, because I did notice that, as we're recording this, the auction is still going. And so I checked last night. The current bid is $378,000 for this 10-cent funny book.
Oh, graded at, what'd you say, 5.0?
That's a CGC at a 5.0. So kind of my sweet spot for older back issues and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I will not be bidding on this book.
Come on, just once.
On the same page here, this is actually page 15 of the catalog. There's also a list here on the side of the page of convention calendar, which talks about upcoming conventions around the country you might check out if you're in the area. Mm-hmm. Looking for some new conventions to go to this year.
They've upset me with that because my convention in Harrisburg used to be listed in there because they had the website and what's in the catalog, and they're putting only the much larger conventions in the catalog. Or if you pay to get into the catalog.
Gotcha.
So.
You got to grease them wheels, Scott.
Yeah.
Grease them palms. There you go.
Something else there's a flip side to previews, and one thing that's interesting is they always have the sales numbers for some of the previous months. So the January 2018 sales numbers, the top book was Doomsday Clock number 3. But what I thought was interesting is there's not a single Marvel book in the top 5, and there's even an Image book before there is a Marvel book, really? And I've never seen that before.
That just speaks to quality, Scott.
Well, you're probably right. DC is definitely doing something, right, whereas Marvel is definitely doing some stuff wrong, for sure. So, and most of my favorite books are Marvel books, but they're just not top-selling books. So.
Does it list whether it's units sold and dollars, or does it get into that breakdown?
Well, I didn't see what it was. I think it was
just
Diamond
a number sold.
Just a number
Gotcha.
sold. So what is it? The information is put forth. This page is based on actual sales of products invoiced in January 2018.
Okay. Yeah, so it's probably just
quantity.
Numbers.
Yeah, because I think even there for a while, I think around the time of New 52 when DC was really sort of steadily outselling Marvel, Marvel still had higher priced books and were bringing in more dollars.
Yep.
Right.
For the company. So I guess there's always different ways of looking at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of mess with those numbers too, because Marvel has a habit of, like, if you'll order 10 copies of a book, sometimes they'll send you 12. So they'll send you a couple free ones, and they get to count those numbers toward their quantity sold, but they can't count it as dollars sold. So they kind of pad their numbers a little bit sales-wise by sending out free books.
If they're going to do that, they should just send them to me. Yeah. So if any comic company hearing this wants to send me free books to pad out their numbers, feel free.
Okay. So got those little tidbits of information out there. So first thing I got in Dark Horse is on page 59.
Well, I got something on 55.
Oh, well.
We've got a new hardcover collection of Evan Dorkin's Dork book. It was an indie book. I think it might have been through Slave Labor originally, back when it started. This is a collection of his series. It was sort of a catch-all kind of thing for him. There's a little bit of milk and cheese in there. When I was in high school, I loved this book. There's some juvenile humor in it, but there were parts that got very serious. There's an issue where he got a lot of calls from people because it reads like he was like suicidally depressed at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not he was, I'm not sure, but it was definitely a sobering issue when you read it, considering how lighthearted the rest of the run was. But it was still a really good book, and it was a really good series.
Huh. I really read any of that. So 59, I just have it earmarked just because it's another mini series that kind of crosses over with video game people. World of Tanks, and I'm just mentioning it really because my son-in-law is obsessed with this game, and he spends a lot of time on it. So much to my daughter's chagrin sometimes, but that's what he does for a living. He's a tanker in the Army, so kind of cut him some slack on that. But there is a second one. It's written by Garth Ennis, who knows how to write a good war story. So there is that, just something a little different.
I don't have anything in Dark Horse this time.
I think that's it for me.
That's it for you.
Go ahead to jump into DC.
Okay, just one other thing to mention, there's another Witchfinder series starting in there for you Magnolia readers, another facet of his universe that is created. So there's another miniseries of that starting. So now DC.
Yeah, so page 83, we got DC Nation Zero. So we've got a 25-cent DC comic with, 3 new stories? So
Coming out the week of free comic book day.
Yeah.
Not the Saturday, the Wednesday before, and it is a quarter.
25 cents, so it's
For
probably
3 stories.
worth it. And it's got Tom King written stories. So.
Yeah. And we've got some interior art by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, which is rare
nice,
anymore.
yeah.
You talked about this issue last time on the podcast.
Yeah, I think
too,
they
didn't
just
you?
kind of
Yeah.
announced this last time we recorded. There are some variant covers too, which have got some pretty serious quantities behind them.
I don't think I'll be getting any of them.
We'll be getting all those in.
Yeah,
what I'm hearing.
we are. Yeah.
But yeah, this was what really should be their free comic book day offering.
Yeah.
Why they're doing this, I'm not sure. But it sounds like it's probably important to some upcoming DC stuff, so you want to stay in the know.
Sounds like maybe intro to some of their upcoming
Yeah.
stuff. So
Definitely a jumping on point to check out. After that, on pages 84 and 85, we have the Action Comics Special #1 and Superman Special #1.
So this is probably going to make up for those months without an issue of Action Comics.
Yeah,
so they're going to give us one-shots.
Yeah, it'll be part of that, and I think it's kind of wrapping up some of the storylines, too, before the Bendis reboot comes. Because I know this is dealing with some of the storylines that have been running recently in there.
So they're putting a button on those and then going to do that 7-issue Man of Steel
Yeah.
thing and then go into Action 1001 and Superman #1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Page 80, 86, 87, you got a Justice League No Justice miniseries. Looks like it's going to be weekly. And I guess Brainiac's going to be the big baddie in this series. So-
Yeah, and this is the first of a weekly series that we have in this catalog this month. Looks like that's a trend right now with this 5-week month we've got coming up in May.
Oh, yeah, because there's one IDW, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so there's
we'll
a
get
few
to
of
that
those.
later.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm interested in most of those, so I'm probably buying a lot of books this month.
Is this probably leading up to, or kind of an interim thing? Because aren't like a lot of DC titles kind of getting shaken up? Like, aren't they canceling Justice League? and Justice
yes,
of
this is
America?
specifically for Justice League. This will lead
Yeah.
into Scott Snyder's relaunch, Justice League #1.
Right.
I heard a rumor about them restarting Justice League of America also. I'm not sure how definitive that is. I can't
Right.
remember the details right now as we're talking.
I'd heard they were going to roll it up into one book.
I think that was
Justice
the original
Oh,
thing I
okay.
heard, but then I heard like they might be restarting that too.
Same
If they
thing
can if they can make money on it,
Yeah,
they'll
for
do
sure.
2 books for sure.
So same thing with, I heard the same thing about Teen Titans and Titans.
Yeah.
That was going to get rolled up into one.
Right.
So who knows though? I'm sure. All right.
Page 90, 91. After missing a month, we've got Doomsday Clock issue #5 listed. #4 is still not out yet, so hopefully that'll be out pretty soon. Just read #3, so issue #3. So I'm still enjoying this story, and of course it's talking about the comedian coming back. Spoiler.
Right.
Just,
Yeah. Whoops.
but it pictures the Joker on the cover. So,
So-
yeah, I really
which-
like that. I really like that Gary Frank Joker cover
Yeah,
on that.
it's really
too.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm liking all the covers they've been doing for the most part.
Have you been buying the DC covers or the Watchmen covers?
I've been getting both.
Been getting
'cause I'm
both?
a sucker.
Okay.
And they get my money.
You are the target demographic.
Yeah, I guess so.
I started. I made a mistake. I started just getting the Watchmen covers, and now I'm wishing I would have been. I wish I would have been a sucker too and was buying
Right.
both of them. So
Well, if you're going to be a sucker too, be sure to buy your copies at Campus Comics.
Yes,
exactly.
So, yeah.
After that, we've got the Harley Quinn, Harley Loves Joker issues 1 through 2, written by Paul Dini, the creator of Harley Quinn. I believe this is wrapping up the backup stories he was writing in the Harley Quinn ongoing book. It'll probably be kind of a fun book to check out. And again, if you're a Harley Quinn completist, make sure you pick these up because this is the kind of thing that slips through the cracks. In a couple years, it's $200.
Right.
And you're like,
Yeah.
where did that go?
And meanwhile, Dan tweets that he picked it up for the price of $3. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. All right, after that, we've got the latest entry in the New Age of DC Heroes, the New Challengers #1, written by Scott Snyder, which really kind of got my attention for this book because I have been picking up some of these, but I wasn't sure about this one.
Have any of these vertical fold-out covers shipped yet?
Yes.
Okay. I just hadn't seen any of them yet. So how unwieldy are they?
It's a pain.
It's a pain.
it's
That's
not-
what I thought
It's
it would
about
be.
what I'd expect.
Yeah, when I sit down to read it, I'm like, okay, what's this look like? Okay, let's fold this back up now. Never do this again.
Never ever touch it again.
The back sides of them do seem to be forming a larger image of like all the characters. It looks like. So I assume once you get all those, you can put them together, make a big, pretty picture. But again, really gimmicky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bad gimmicky.
It's the books have been all right, but they really feel like this is a DC
Oh, yeah.
version of Marvel characters. It seems like we have a Hulk analog, Spider-Man. People have been saying Terrifics reminds them of Fantastic
Fantastic
Four
Four.
since it was announced.
I'm assuming Brimstone's Ghost Rider.
Something I would
Something,
yeah I
I
would
would
imagine.
say, you know.
Silencer, even though it is a black woman, it does feel kind of like a Punisher kind of book. Sideways is clearly a Spider-Man book.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
sure where Immortal Men would fall into that. Maybe
know.
X-Men,
Maybe.
but not sure. Hasn't really shipped yet, so can't say for sure till it comes out. But they do really feel like Marvel analogs.
Okay, what's next here?
I don't have anything until 133. So
Well, on
I got the 107.
yeah,
Is that where you're at
Yeah.
too, Dan? Yeah, that's the Batman the Dark Prince Charming. It's the second book of that. The first one came out probably about, 3-4 months ago?
yeah, I think it was right before Christmas, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I
Around
think
there.
That's right. But yeah, written by Enrico Marini, art and cover by same. And it's just kind of I guess his original take on the whole Batman thing. This has a kind of a bizarre looking Joker thing going on. But a lot of people have been asking when this second book's coming out, and it looks like it's got a shelf date of June 20th. So
wow, it's a pretty 6 months then between issues. If
Yeah.
you said it was before
yeah.
Christmas.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just two hardcovers.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they were upfront about that too.
Yeah,
It wasn't going to be
okay.
like a monthly thing. It hasn't been canceled and
Well,
solicited.
that won't be the longest delay that we talk about in this catalog
No.
either. So
True.
Right after that, on the next page, we've got Batman White Knight #8. That'll be the last issue, I believe. Of that, yeah.
I think you're
and
right, yeah.
that's been a really good book. I assume the trade is probably going to follow this pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't been picking this up, really check it out. It's been a really good, solid story of Sean Murphy. Just sort of a fun, out of continuity Batman book. Just a really good concept there.
I'm good to 133. So
I'm on 118, and we were just talking about the Justice League No Justice series. It looks like there's going to be issues and other titles. Well, that's a 5 weekly thing, right? So it looks
Yeah.
like there's one tie-in in this. It looks like the Green Arrow Annual #2 is going to be part of that story arc. So if you want to read that, you may want to actually pick up a issue of the Green Arrow, the annual, because it's part of that story apparently.
are there 5 issues of the No Justice series? They only solicit 4. There's only 4 issues of that title.
oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's
There
4
wasn't
on
a
page.
0 issue or anything weird.
Not
I
that
don't
I
know
had.
why I
No,
thought
okay.
5.
1,
Yeah.
2.
So I think it's just 4 issue. That's.
Oh yeah, it is 4 issues.
I was looking back
Okay.
because I'd written down 4. I thought, well, maybe I misread that.
No,
So,
I guess I
You know,
was.
it
I was
is a-
padding it
another
for DC. I guess.
Weekly series in May though for you to pick up.
All right.
I'm 133. So
All right. Let's see where I'm at.
well, I'll go ahead and go 133 while we're getting caught up here. But,
Yeah, I'm
just some more trades. I would like to talk about the trades. So we got a Batman Rebirth trade, deluxe edition hardcover. So if you want to get about 16 issues, 17 issues, all in one not so easy to hold book volume, then there's that. And then on page 135, we've got the next Deathstroke. Now, I got a question about this one because this is Deathstroke Rebirth. It says by Tony S. Daniel, but I thought Christopher Priest was writing the Rebirth Deathstroke
Is this
stuff
the
from the
Deathstroke versus
beginning.
Batman?
No.
No,
It's not, okay.
No, that's going on now.
that confused me a little
I think
bit.
when it launched, it was Tony Daniel.
Okay, I thought he was. I thought Christopher Priest was in it from the get go.
No,
so,
yeah.
okay.
See here it lists Deathstroke 1 through 20, Annual 1 and 2, and a story from a sneak peek. So this would have been the
Okay.
beginning of the run.
Okay.
And then I would assume Priest took over after that.
Took over after Brown 21 then. So okay.
Back on 134, we've got some new Batman collections coming out. There's Batman, A Lot of Little Gotham, which I believe was a digital series that they did then as a monthly. Looks like collects all of that by Dustin Nguyen.
New one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's a really good Batman artist who's done a lot of different things. This is just sort of a real cartoony, almost little kid version of Batman and his characters. Underneath that, we have the Batman, the Arkham Saga Omnibus, which seems to collect all the titles that they've done that tie into the Batman Arkham games. What stands out for me on this one is it looks like it includes the Arkham Asylum Road to Arkham, which I believe was an exclusive comic that when you bought the game off Amazon, that is super hard to find now and is pricey when you do.
Huh.
I'm not even sure if it's available digitally.
Wow.
So this is still a $150 hardcover, but that is probably a cheaper way of getting that book. And of course, after that, we have the Batman by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale Omnibus. And this does collect their, Long Halloween and Dark Victory series, but also the Legends of the Dark Knight specials that they did leading up to that, and the Catwoman Win in Rome storyline.
The only thing I
ties
just wondered
in.
about the omission of Haunted Night with that. That was a third book by Loeb and Sale. Batman 7. It just surprised me that it wasn't in there.
Was Haunted Night them, or was that a Kelly Jones one? Or was that Haunted Gotham? Man, there's too much.
yeah.
There's too much ghost
I'm pretty sure
stuff.
Haunted Night was.
That because they have Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween special.
Okay.
I wonder if that was that. Maybe.
I don't know.
We'd have to
'cause
look
there
and
were
see.
3 trades in that
Yeah.
and the Catwoman thing that were part of that arc, as far as
Yeah.
So it just surprised me that wasn't in there, unless I'm totally off base there.
After that, underneath the Deathstroke and Bombshells trade, we have Elseworlds Batman Volume 3. It's a collection of different Batman Elseworlds from like the 90s and turn of the century. What stands out here for me is they have the Brotherhood of the Bat and Night Gallery specials, which were when Bruce Wayne came back from being Batman in the 90s after Jean Paul Valley took over. A bunch of the artists working for DC at the time did new costume concept designs. The Night Gallery is a collection of all these drawings that all the regular Batman artists at the time did for their Batman costumes. Some of them look pretty crazy. There's some interesting designs in there. Brotherhood of the Bat is an Elseworld story in which it is sort of a league of Batman, and all of the different Batman have these different costumes.
Oh.
So it's not, and again, it's not a great story. It's worth reading. It's kind of fun, but you see all these different crazy costume designs they did.
Page 136 got the 6th volume of Flash for Rebirth. Flash has been a solid title through Rebirth. I usually makes it to the top of my to-read pile, or fairly close to it each time, and I get a new trade in on that. Page 138 got another Justice League Volume 6. I think this would be the first Christopher Priest storyline for Justice League, so that trade is being solicited this month. That's all I've got for DC, so whatever else you guys got in DC.
Yeah, I just, of course, my usual looking at the statues on 145 or 147. Got the next 2 offerings in the Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans statue with Beast Boy and Cyborg, and they look pretty nice, especially the Beast Boy. Got him kind of transforming into a tiger, a green tiger, of course. There, and those are pretty nice again.
I do like the energy effect coming off of Cyborg's hand.
Yeah, looks
there
pretty
too,
good.
and that's
I'm assuming
kinda-
that's going to be like transparent,
Yeah, I think
translation.
so.
It looks pretty cool. A couple pages past that, it's 149, which when I first saw the pictures of these, I thought this was going to be 3 separate statues, kind of like
Yeah.
they're doing with the Teen Titans thing. But it's one large statue, apparently, of Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Pretty hefty price tag of $395. And to tell you the truth, I would usually be all about this, even at that price point. But the only one I really like is Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I don't really care for the Superman face.
No.
And the Batman,
And the
it doesn't
neck
look
is
like his
terrible on the
head sits
Superman.
right on the statue, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a pass for me, as much as I would like to get it. But I just
Yeah, and it's
think
based
I'm
on
gonna
design
have
by
to
Jason Fabok, and I really like his art. You know,
Mhm.
he's done some good stuff in the Batman books and things. It's
Right.
like, I don't know if they just couldn't translate his style that well into 3 dimensions or
pass. Right.
what, but
But yeah,
a
it's
little lackluster entry.
yeah. So for that price, I think I'm gonna have to pass.
Well, right after that on 150, we have an artist who I thought for sure would be difficult to translate into 3D is Kenneth Rockfort. And we have a Red Hood statue designed by him, which looks really nice. I saw some video from Toy Fair where they're kind of showing more of the statue. If it actually has the scuffs and the kind of shading it has on here, this is going to be a really nice piece.
Huh.
I mean, that's how it looks in the picture here. It's got a very sort of metallic helmet he's wearing. This looks like a really nice piece. If you like Red Hood, I would definitely recommend picking this one up.
Was the Brian Bolland Joker statue listed before?
I think this is the mini one. I think maybe the larger
okay,
scale
Yeah,
Okay.
that was it.
All right.
from
Yeah.
before.
Yep, exactly.
I think this kind of goes along with that mini Batman they just did too.
yeah,
We were talking
which
about.
they didn't do the full size version
Yeah.
of. And just above that, Joker statue they're just talking about is their latest edition of the Harley Quinn's ever ongoing red, white, and black statue line. This one's based on a design by Philip Tan. Looks nice, you know. Again, for all you Harley completists, here's yet another one, you know. And the price point I think on those is about $80. So for a 1/10 scale statue, so decent, not bad. Page following that is the second in their DC Core PVC statues, which are their affordable. Last month they did the Joker. This month is Batman. It's a really nice looking piece, and I think retail on those are $50. You know, so we usually discount those here at Campus Comics by about 20%. You know, so we're looking at probably $40 plus tax for that. So it's a real nice looking Batman.
Yeah, it's all you on DC. So
Okay, all right.
I
Page
think.
154. Am I mistaken, Dan? Is this the first time we've gotten comic versions, Watchmen action figures?
From DC it is. Mattel has done some through their, I believe it's called Black Freighter Club. That was
Okay.
their online store, and they had comic accurate versions of the original Watchmen characters on there.
Oh, okay.
I think these specifically are based on the Doomsday Clock stories.
Right.
well, because Mime and Marionette are specifically Doomsday Clock characters.
Right, characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was mostly just looking at the new offerings up there.
And they're not in the same set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
isn't that weird?
that's definitely how they get you.
Uh-huh. For sure. Okay, but that's it for me on DC.
IDW.
Yeah.
All right, you want to get? Yeah, go ahead. You're
Yeah.
you're a bigger Star
Yeah.
Trek fan than I am. So
So this is probably one of my favorite miniseries of last year for sure. Was the Star Trek Next Generation Mirror Broken. We have a sequel to that called Through the Mirror, which is the next in the weekly miniseries for May. We'll talk about. It's a sequel to that story where it looks like the Mirror universe versions of the Next Generation crew meet the regular versions of the Enterprise crew that we all know. I think this might be a different writer. I'm not sure, but I'm really looking forward to this series. This is like a must-buy for me. I will definitely get these. Nice thing is it's weekly, so you assume this is all done, ready to go. There were some delays with the previous miniseries that won't be happening here, I would assume. Mm-hmm. So I'm really looking forward to that one. A couple pages after that, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends #1. I've heard people call these like the Lost Tales and things like that before. It's the Image book. It's a series they did at Image. I don't know why people think it's been missing or lost or something. It just hasn't been reprinted, I assume. It's not like it's some secret thing. The only other thing I have in IDW is the Mike Allred's Madman Artist Select, which is a kind of big collection of a selection of Madman stories that I guess Mike Allred has made. I have all these. I have a nice big hardcover of everything Madman up to a point. I mean, it's I believe they're all signed in a nice slipcase, but for $125, I'm like, that's probably a pass for me. If this were all new stuff or had some new content in it, I might pick it up. But
then you would be the sucker who would buy it.
yeah, but I don't think I'll be doing that.
Gotcha.
Page 193, we got a new, I'm assuming original John Byrne story, John Byrne's Stowaway to the Stars, #1 special edition. This is full page artwork with just supporting text, so it's a little different format. But,
Almost like a storybook kind of
almost
thing,
like
you
a
think?
storybook
Oh,
type
weird.
of a thing.
Very
So
cool.
just something a little bit different. It's 48 pages, so I don't know if it's the start of a series or just a one shot. I'm not for sure about that.
Yeah.
But you get full page John Byrne art, so that's
pretty cool.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, probably in conjunction with that, a couple pages back, we've got the John Byrne X-Men Artifact Edition, which, shows some of his original artwork from his run on X-Men.
Anything else? IDW.
Can't remember the scenario, but someone just asked me who John Byrne was the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, what? Like, are you reading comics? To deal with that. Actually, still in IDW, on 197, we have Joe Jusko's Marvel Masterpieces. And I believe this is like a complete set of the artwork he did for a Marvel Masterpiece trading card set, but it says it's from 2016. It's like he
Really?
did a lot of Marvel's cards back in the 90s that
Yeah.
are pretty nice. I would kind of like to see a collection of that. I don't know if that's something they've done or
Huh.
maybe they'll do later.
Yeah.
But like, why do the 2016
the
when
new
there were
one.
some really nice old
Older
ones?
ones, yeah.
I know. I mean,
Well,
maybe,
because the
maybe it's
90s
not
cards,
practical.
they're like millions of them that nobody wants anymore. So
Right.
So
the
everybody's
2016
tired of looking at
series, yeah, the 2016
Yeah.
series, I've actually heard people say they can't find that series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh,
so
huh.
at least for an affordable price.
Right.
So
Okay, well, maybe that's
that
the
may be the
reason.
reason why.
Okay, that makes sense. I would definitely buy a hardcover of the old stuff though too. Kind of checking that out.
Image,
Yep.
Yep.
I have nothing in Image this time.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about the next weekly
There
mini-series
you
in
go,
May. It's
alright.
Barrier
Oh yeah.
by Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin. Now, there is, I believe, issue 1 is also their free comic book day offering, so you can pick that up, or you can buy it for $4.99.
Your call.
But it does look like they will have all 5 issues out in May. So if you want to read the entire story that way, you can do that.
Was this a digital first thing?
I
or
think it
something?
was.
Yeah.
They also did a book called Private Eye that was really good too,
Gotcha.
like that. And so I think this was another thing they did.
Right.
I'm not sure about the format. It looks kind of widescreen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how that'll actually be once it's in your hand, but we'll see.
Right.
I think it's going to have a side staple. I thought I heard say they were going to side staple
Is
that.
it?
Oh, yeah.
So it was going to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I don't know that for sure.
Right.
So there's no
That
number
makes
ones
sense.
for you
I-
this
I-
month?
this-
Really?
they're-
Not even Death or Glory?
No,
Like,
none of them.
It's on the
look-
cover of the catalog.
Yeah, none
Right,
of them
yeah.
look that good to me.
Seems
so
like
You don't want Flavor number 1?
no, I'm going to pass on Flavor #1. I'm going to pass on Death or Glory #1.
I
I'm gonna
can't
pass
believe
on
that you're going to pass on Medieval Spawn Witchblade
I
number
know.
1.
Yeah, I know,
'cause It
that's
is
it.
1996 up in here.
all. Yeah,
That's it.
there's a lot of 1990s in this catalog. So, but yeah, I'm going to pass on that.
Somebody in Image is getting a little nostalgic, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of new trades.
Oh, there's a Bonehead trade, which I think we talked about when the first issue
Yep.
was listed. I never did pick it up though.
I have it and haven't read it yet.
Yeah,
so.
let me know how that is. I might go back and get that.
So it's another one of those first issues that I didn't do any good on. So
I can mention on the 208, there's like an all-star talent-wise anthology trade paperback to benefit any victims of the Las Vegas shooting. So then it's just I don't know. Maybe not something I'd be picking up. But it's just kind of nice to do that.
Well,
and they're-
I mean, the thing is though too, how the way I kind of look at it is how much money do I spend on comic books?
right.
Maybe some of that can go towards a good cause.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I
there's
see what you're
that.
saying.
So-
yeah,
That's kind of my impetus for picking up some of those books. And again, I don't know how much money actually goes where it needs to, but
right.
that's
Your heart's
can't really control that.
Yep.
We've got another issue of Moonshine. I only mentioned it because I really like this book, and I'm glad it's coming out again on a regular basis. It's just a fun werewolf bootleggers. And we've got the 3rd issue of Oblivion Song by Kirkman, and the first one just came out last week, right as
yeah.
we're recording.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, sold out too. Sold out of that and Gideon Falls #1 too. So hopefully people are liking it.
I think that's it for me with the Image.
Yeah, I think so too for me.
so Marvel.
Looks like it.
Okay.
So were you liking Legacy, Scott? Dan, were you
I
enjoying the
was,
Legacy
I was liking it.
right.
I knew it. We knew it wouldn't last.
Oh, yeah,
So,
for sure.
I mean, not lasting is one thing. Being so short is
Yeah.
kind of surprising.
yeah.
Especially, I mean, that was really the first, just for this store, for our store, that was the first uptick in Marvel sales I'd seen
Really?
in a long time, was these Legacy titles that, some of our customers seem to be pretty interested in them, of course, so
Yeah,
it's
keep
done.
I just keep hearing what a poor year Marvel had last year, and that's really kind of the impetus behind this. But I'm like, man, I was buying it, and I don't buy much of Marvel to begin with,
Right.
So I don't know
Mhm.
how that works out, bigger picture. But
But
we are getting a fresh start
fresh
for
start.
Marvel, and I
start,
can't
yeah.
believe that's actually what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Sounds like laundry detergent, Marvel laundry detergent or something.
So on page 2 of the Marvel catalog, we have another Avengers #1 with a team of Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness, and they lose me by putting Deadpool on the cover of an Avengers comic book. So
Is that the
I'm-
main, or is that a variant?
I don't know. It's
It's
a
a
party
party-
variant.
party variant.
Okay.
Woo, party.
Party. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Jason Aaron.
I like Jason Aaron a lot too.
I haven't read everything he's done, but everything I have read, I've liked. I like Ed McGuinness. I'll probably at least pick up this first issue.
Yeah, and
but-
it does Celestials. It does have the Celestials in
Yeah.
it. So that's
Yeah.
something. As long as they don't turn Ego into a Celestial in the comics too, then we'll be okay. So
And this is, though, the only Avengers book, right, in Fresh Start.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any others. Now, so that fresh start with all those new creative teams on page 8, we have Black Panther #1 with the same writer, but that's
New
okay.
team.
But again,
That's
it's
okay.
Daniel
Yeah.
Acuna drawing, right?
Yeah, so they have a new artist. So, but
I really like his work. 6 issues, maybe before he's off this book. He's got a digital style that seems to probably take a while to get
Gotcha.
done. I don't see him being on this book a year for sure.
I'm not super familiar with him, so I don't know
Yeah.
what his history is like on that. But now, looking at this cover though for Black Panther #1, it looks exactly like one of the other
Brian
Black
Stelfreeze
Panther.
#1.
Stelfreeze
Yeah,
number
it's-
one.
They're,
Yeah,
they're
it's just
definitely
like,
referencing that.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost the exact same.
Yeah,
and
I
it wasn't
don't-
that long ago.
Yeah,
so.
and I don't think that's a oversight on anyone's part. I'm pretty sure that's intentional.
So, like, indicating it's different, but not all that different.
Not all
Yeah.
that different. Yes.
There's a new Venom #1 coming out. The only thing that kind of caught my eye on this was a remastered variant cover by Todd McFarlane variant that they're doing. So I don't think Todd McFarlane's coming back to draw a Venom
No.
cover, but they've got some art of his they own
So
that they will
gonna
be
use it.
redoing.
And I didn't realize that Flash Thompson was no longer had the Venom symbiote.
Yeah,
so
no.
that's changed.
Yeah, it was Eddie Brock in Legacy too.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how far back that goes right now. Actually, Flash Thompson, I read this new issue of Amazing Spider-Man, the start of Dan Slott's Go Down Swinging story, and Flash Thompson is anti-Venom apparently.
Oh, really?
okay.
Yeah, like
Gotcha.
the white, sort
Yeah.
of reverse color Venom.
I know who you're talking
So
about.
I don't know when that happened, but I'm just like, oh, look at that.
Huh. Darn.
So
Page 20. Speaking of '90s nostalgia.
oh yeah,
So you have Infinity Countdown, Darkhawk.
because you
Oh, yeah.
demanded it.
You demanded
That's
it.
Do you know I've actually there's been one guy that's come in 3 times asking when this is going to start.
Really?
Specifically the Darkhawk.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there was the one shot they did as part of Legacy for Darkhawk, where it's they did like Silver Sable and Not Brand X in those books that were kind of testing the waters.
Right.
So maybe they got a positive
Maybe it tested
response
well.
to the Darkhawk book.
Gotcha.
And there is a variant cover by Ron Lim, who we were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about last time.
Yeah.
So he's doing a lot of variant covers. So
So in a couple years, I'll be going to the theater to see Darkhawk.
Darkhawk,
movie.
yeah.
You
There we
know,
go.
just give them time.
Page 29.
Yeah.
So we've got issue 800 of Amazing Spider-Man. So we're not rebooting the numbering when we get these big 100 issues.
Right.
So we'll notice that we've got like what I made a list of like all the hundreds. So we got like Deadpool 300, we got Iron Man 600, and then I'm sure that the legacy or the new numbering will go back to the legacy numbering when we start hitting issue 900
Oh,
of
for
Amazing
sure.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
we all know, real world, that Legacy was so they could do these numbers. Again.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
That was the whole point, to hit these milestone issues. Some of these are immediately going back to a new #1 afterwards. So,
Because that makes it easy to keep them sorted in
Oh,
long
for
boxes.
sure.
Yep.
Well, that was in the article posted.
Yeah.
About it. Just like that was a quote directly from that article is that ultimately we do not want our numbering to be confusing to readers.
Right.
So
Too late.
But again,
That
this
ship
this
has
is
sailed.
but Spider-Man. This is also the end of Dan Slott's run. He's
Right.
been
Right.
on for
Quite a while.
over
several
a
years.
couple hundred issues,
would
right?
think.
You know.
yep.
So,
Yeah, well, because like wasn't the death of like issue 600?
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think it was issue 600, or was it 700?
700 was the
700, but he
superior
was-
Spider-Man stuff, but 600 I think was still a Dr. Octopus fight that I want to say was Dan Slott
Okay.
still
Huh.
back then, and I know he'd been on there before then. So yeah, maybe like 250 issues or something
Wow.
like that.
Yeah, especially if you count like because like didn't he do like Superior Foes of Spider-Man too?
That was Nick Spencer.
That was
They
right. That
actually
was
wrote
Nick
that,
Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah,
taking
and
over
that's
after
that's
Slott.
that's something I'm kind of excited about with Fresh Start is Nick Spencer is taking over Spider-Man, and he did write the Superior Foes series I really liked, and then the Ant-Man stuff he did a couple years ago. So I mean, if you're bringing someone on to Spider-Man, I'm glad it's him. Yeah, then we've got the Invincible Iron Man number 600, which will be Bendis' last right on there, I think.
And Bendis on Iron Man's been really, really good. So yeah,
I like that Alex Ross variant. Mm-hmm. That sort of old school Iron Man tearing
Yep.
through the wall.
Old shell head.
Yep. On 39, we've got You Are Deadpool, 5-issue miniseries. Is this like a choose your own adventure Deadpool story? That's kind of what it sounds like in the description.
I saw Deadpool turn the page.
You
so-
love it.
And you know it.
Yeah. So, and it is 1 through 5 of 5. So
There you
another
go.
5-issue
Five-issue.
miniseries in May.
Well.
Everybody's doing it.
Page 42, or you got something before there?
Just 41 is
Oh, yeah.
Captain America 701. Mark Waid's sticking around right now. Chris Omni is gone.
Oh, okay.
So I will be reading that, but again, when Wade leaves, I'll probably be dropping the book.
Somni didn't stay on that very long, so
6 months.
Was it even that long? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
like
it was 6
694?
issues, I think.
Okay.
But that was what their run was originally just supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
And so I think
Oh,
Wade,
did they pre-announce that?
I
didn't
believe
catch-
so.
Okay.
I don't know how upfront they were about it, but that sounds like that was always kind of their deal. And then Wade staying on a little longer now.
Page 42 and 43. So we have a Shield miniseries. Now this is the kind of like the prehistory of Shield, written by Jonathan Hickman and Dustin Weaver. They actually did a couple of limited series on this. I didn't realize that there was the second series never ever was finished.
Oh, really?
So apparently it was originally came out in like 2011. So issues 5 and 6 are being
Oh, I
released
see.
7 years later to actually finally finish this story, and they're soliciting both issues for this in this previous catalog, and you can get a Rebirth #1 edition of the first 4 issues because you may not still have those or had given up on this story ever being finished, which is one reason why it's sometimes good to wait for the trade.
So is this that longer gap that you were
Yes,
talking
that's a 7-year gap between issues 4 and 5.
Well, I'm still waiting on Tick 13. So
Well, they started renumbering Tick. They started Tick over at #1 again, so I don't have anything till 73.
on 59, we've got Marvel 2-in-1 number 6. Again, another book I really liked in Legacy. Chip Zdarsky, who I think they just announced today is going Marvel exclusive. I don't know what that means for his indie books, but they're saying that this is the Fate of the Four revealed at last.
Gotcha.
So I would assume this is either going to be the return of the Fantastic Four or something leading up to that.
I think in the one that just hit the shelves today, we see Johnny and Ben in new FF uniforms.
Yeah.
Just so hopefully we're getting there. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, on 66, I just wanted to mention they've got the last issue of the Lockjaw miniseries. So far, real time, only the first issues come out, and I've picked that up, and I really liked it. It was just kind of a fun,
Huh.
not attached to anything else kind of story, just about Lockjaw, the dog from the Inhumans,
Right.
and kind of teaming up with D-Man. So,
Like 73 is where I'm at, so.
on 68, 69, we've got X-Men Red Annual #1. The only thing that kind of caught my eye about this was there is the cover by Travis Charest, who is a good artist, another good artist. He used to do a lot of stuff. I haven't seen too much from him lately. And I think this is just a black and white version of his cover, but I expect that to look pretty good when it's actually
I
finished.
just say not final art. So.
Yeah.
So 73 have an issue number 3 of Exiles, which I think this is not. I'm pretty sure this is not part of any Marvel continuity. I think it's based on a video game. But what caught my eye is we have Agent Peggy Carter as Captain America holding the shield. So that was kind of nifty. That the Agent Carter series I really enjoyed, and especially that little short they had on the back of one of the Iron Man DVDs was just like really good. So I've enjoyed that series. So I thought it was interesting to see Peggy Carter as Captain America.
Right after that, on 74, 75, we have this month's True Believers books, which are all Wolverine themed, it looks like.
Yeah. They're not that great, really. Other than the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine issue number 1, most of these books I don't think are anything particularly special. What am I missing?
Well, the Wolverine versus Sabretooth number 1, which I believe is issue 10 of his regular monthly book. That was a book when I was young that everybody wanted. I think it was like Sabretooth calls him son in that or something, and this is back before there was anything known about their origins. It's like, oh, Sabretooth is his dad. It says in that issue, and it's just, he's just referring to him as son, not necessarily maybe calling him his biological father, that kind of thing, or just throwing him for a loop. But I just remember that issue was one back in the day everybody wanted. I think it's still a little pricier now. We've also got a Marvel Comics Presents reprint with a nice Sam Keith super hairy Wolverine
Cover,
that he used to do back in the day.
The Fatal Attractions one, that's where he has his adamantium ripped out, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So,
which you'd think would kill somebody, but
but he's got healing factor.
Yeah. Oh, there's also the. I guess they're calling it Wolverine Evolution number 1. I believe that's a story where Sabretooth dies a few years ago.
Page 77, X-Men Wedding Special number 1. Again, for those of you who were late 80s, 90s, the Colossus and Kitty Pryde romance was kind of a on-again, off-again big deal thing. So apparently they are going to hitch the two of them. And this is something I think many years ago would have been like the cover of the Marvel magazine. And now it's relegated to page 77 because it's been so long in coming. So, and Chris Claremont apparently is going to be back for part of that story. So
yeah, and it's a nice J. Scott Campbell cover. If you were marrying someone who could just phase through you like that, would you be cool with that, or would that get kind of annoying after a while? You're like, just walk around.
Act like I'm not even here.
Yeah. It's like you can't even see me.
I'm 107's where I'm at in Marvel.
Well, in 88. In the Star Wars section, we have Star Wars Tag and Bink Were Here number 1. This is a reprint of the Tag and Bink comics that Dark Horse did originally, written by Kevin Rubio. These were fun, just basically out of continuity stories with two characters that kind of wind their way through the Star Wars universe. Anytime there's like two random stormtroopers standing somewhere or two random characters here and there, it's meant to be them. They were just really fun stories. There's been references where people think that Tag and Bink are in Force Awakens and that they are the two stormtroopers who back up after Kylo Ren has a breakdown. I believe there was also a storyline in here where they get the plans for the Death Star and their friend Manny Bothans dies trying to get those plans. So that's kind of the tone they're going for here with these books. I heard they are supposed to actually be in Solo, in the Solo film.
Oh, really?
So that's probably why they're reprinting that here. In some of the Marvel Select stuff, we've got a Gladiator Hulk Ragnarok figure, which I don't remember seeing before, but it looks like a nice figure here that they're resoliciting. Probably still in stock.
Well, there's one of those Marvel Gallery figures of your favorite there.
Oh, yeah.
Scott,
yeah.
Deadpool right
it's
there.
It's only $45. You can get a couple.
$45, and he's wearing pink bunny slippers on top of a trashed taco truck. So.
Yeah, see, it just screams Scott Reese.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah.
Down for two.
Don't buy this. Don't buy this.
On page 100, some more good news. It looks like we've got several Fantastic Four reprints coming out, which you think would lead into a new book.
Yeah, wonder why.
There's the new version of Omnibus number 1, which is like the first 30 issues in annual Fantastic Four, which those are great stories. I've got the older version of that. It's really good to read. And then there's a John Byrne Omnibus. And then a Fantastic Four Behold Galactus hardcover, which looks like it's by its various Galactus stories, I would assume. We've got the X-Men: The Wedding of Cyclops and Phoenix hardcover, which I assume is coming out to coincide with the Kitty Pryde Colossus wedding.
And then the trade that I've been dreading for a while on page 107, Mighty Thor Volume 5, Death of the Mighty Thor. So I'll finally get around to reading that story, figuring out how it all ended for Jane Foster. So that's listed this month. On page 108, you have the Marvel Masterworks Killraven, which may possibly be the worst costume in all of comic books. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the stars kind of tie it together.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
It is. I can't remember. Was this before that Sean Connery movie?
Oh, that's
Zardoz.
exactly what I was thinking. Zardoz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that before?
I don't
or
know.
after?
I'm not that old. Right after that, on 109, we have Marvel Masterworks Fantastic Four Volume 20. I assume that's a new one and not a resolicit. I don't really follow the Marvel Masterworks that close, so I'd assume that this is the first time we're getting 20, which, again, should tie into the whole we're getting new Fantastic Four stuff.
Because I thought they on the Marvel Masterworks they weren't it wasn't Fantastic Four sequential. I mean, number 1 was Fantastic Four, number 2
Yeah,
was
that's the way it used to be. I don't know if
maybe
that
they've changed it.
Yeah.
So I've got the first half dozen of the Marvel Masterworks, but I don't know for sure on that.
On 112, 113, we've got some Ant-Man collections coming out to coincide with the new movie. Again, we've got the Astonishing Ant-Man Complete Collection, which was the Nick Spencer run on there, so those are some really good stories in that. Fun stuff to check out.
115 have the Captain America by Wade and Somney trade, Home of the Brave, so that's solicited this month.
Yeah, and so that'll be Somney's entire run this time
yeah.
with Wade. Next page after that, we have a bunch of Avengers backlist books, a lot of Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War stuff to get you set up for the movie.
Well, okay, so this is March coming out. These are
So
books
this'll
coming out
be
in
May,
May,
so this'll
so
come out after you've seen the movie.
after the movie. So
Then you can go back and say, that's wrong.
yeah, so a little bit behind.
I think they'd have that out the month before. Well, this is
Well, these
backlist, though, so
yeah, these dates
Yeah, that's
are
true,
all
yeah.
Before.
so these should
Yeah,
be
they
out.
got on sale 328, on sale 44.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are getting them out before.
Oh,
the
okay.
movie.
Yep. I see that now. So
Yeah, some of these are on sale now. It looks like the Infinity Gauntlet trade
Yeah.
they keep in
Yep.
stock, and Infinity War.
And if you hadn't heard, they moved the release date up for Infinity War by a week, which is a shame because it's always nice to have the Marvel movie the same weekend as Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
But it is up a week to
And
match
that
the international release.
That really messes with my plans. If you think Marvel would have considered that with making their decisions.
Page 119. Punisher has been pretty good, but I don't know what I think about Punisher in the War Machine costume. I haven't read this yet, so I'll be picking that up trade just to see what that is like. So I don't think I care for the premise, but who knows? Maybe it'll be good. So
On 128, 129, we have a Deadpool backlist for getting people ready for that movie when it comes out. I guess 3 weeks now after Avengers, isn't it? It's around middle of May, I believe.
I don't remember.
That's when Deadpool 2
I think
comes
you're right.
out.
It was 2 weeks after it. And I think
Yeah,
with
so
the
now I
bump.
think it's 3.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you have your ticket, though, Scott.
Believe it or not, I actually enjoyed the first Deadpool movie, and I'm probably going to see the second Deadpool movie. But I just don't care for the character in the comics. He's out doing his own thing. That's all right. But I'm not a big fan of him in the comics.
Yeah, so it looks like there's some Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, some Cable, and some Domino stuff.
Back
Kinda
on
tying into the
126, we've got Invincible Iron Man, Ironheart Volume 2, Brian Michael Bendis, nearing the end of that run. Writing Iron Man, pretty good stories, has all been pretty good.
On 134, we've got the Silver Surfer Epic Collection Thanos Quest. I think this is it is the Thanos Quest 2-parter with some Silver Surfer issues in there, too. Some of these we found out the other day are pretty pricey because we have some of them in here if you want to come check them out.
Actually sold them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you could have
Yeah.
checked them out the other day.
Snooze, you lose.
Well, issue 34, if I remember right, is where Jim Starlin comes back to writing Silver Surfer. Ron Lim was already on it from issue 15, so you got the Starlin, Ron Lim, and then that's where Thanos comes back. I think issue 44, which is part of this collection, is where you get the first Infinity Gauntlet. So that's one reason why that book's. And then the Thanos Quest 1 and 2 is where Thanos is gathering the gems leading up to the first Infinity Gauntlet series.
On 133, we've got the Marvel Graphic Comic Box Fresh Start. So it can be a fresh start for all the books I'm probably not getting. Will not put in this box.
Yeah, you can protect them.
I've seen kind of a weird thing here. We've got on sale XXXXXXX. So So I assume
Oh, wow.
we don't know when that's coming out. I would assume it's May if it's in this catalog.
Yeah.
Back on 136, Dakota North, which is kind of an odd trade to be soliciting at this point. Dakota North was used pretty effectively in Brewbreaker's Daredevil run. So I don't know if they have something planned for Dakota North here in the near future. So if that's she's the fashion model turned private eye.
Maybe that's the next Netflix show.
Who knows? It
You know?
could be something like that. So if you're interested in that character, she's got a trade this month.
After that, we've got our monthly
Yes.
selection of
There you
posters by
go.
Marvel. There's the Iron Man Alex Ross variant I pointed out earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really nice cover of that. Probably be a great poster.
I'm disappointed the Marvel posters here aren't E, F, G, and H. They went back to A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
So it definitely is not the idea of putting all the Marvel characters that start with the letter A. So we can scratch that.
Unless
We know that's
those
been
are
eliminated.
resolicited from last
Oh,
month. Maybe they
right.
canceled
There you
them. Resolicited them all this month.
That's all I got in Marvel.
Okay. I think I'm
too.
done.
All right.
Going back to the catalog.
And the back of the book is very light for me this time. So
On page 262, we've got Jupiter Jet Volume 1. The only thing that kind of stood out for me about this book is this is written by Jason Inman, who until about last week, I believe, was the co-host of the DC All Access YouTube show. He mentions that he has got a video on his own channel where he kind of talks about how he's no longer with DC in that capacity. And he does mention how he had other projects he wanted to work on. I'm wondering if this comic book he was producing was a conflict to them.
Oh.
I haven't heard. That's just speculation on my part, but I thought that was kind of interesting. On 277.
real quick, I just saw Warren Ellis's name on 273 Stripwreck Volume 1 trade paperback, and the only reason I'm even mentioning this is because there's a Netflix series, Castlevania, and there's a Warren Ellis that's credited. I'm assuming it's the same Warren Ellis, so I just throw that out there.
On 277, under Alternative Comics, there's some collections of Durf stories, and we talked about him a few months ago, I think, because of his My Friend Dahmer book that was being turned into a movie. So here's some more reprints of some of his work. I always liked his comic strip, The City, that he used to do. I don't have anything else again till Boom.
I don't have anything till 336.
Okay, well, on 312, we have Lumberjanes hitting the milestone number 50. So that's been a pretty solid indie book. It's been going on for a while now, so it's always good to see they, last sometimes. On 314, we have six-figure crowdfunding, the no BS guide to running a life-changing campaign. So if you want to learn more about how to have a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding campaign, that might help you out. Might be educational for some people. On 318, we have WWE number 17. I've started picking
Wrestling.
That's right, wrestling. I started picking this up again. They're doing a storyline now focusing on their women's revolution. So they've got some really good women wrestlers right now, and so I definitely wanted to pick this book up to kind of read the storyline. And I believe their next story will center around wrestlers Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And I believe they've got a video online right now where they're calling out the writers of this comic book for not including them sooner in the comic book. You can check that out.
336, we've got
336.
another issue. Well, we have a Sherlock Holmes, The Vanishing Man, issue 1, 4-issue limited series from Dynamite. So fans of the detectives should check this one out.
Yeah, not a weekly miniseries, but
Not
one I
weekly.
definitely want to pick up. Their previous Sherlock Holmes books they did a few years ago I really liked. I'll definitely be picking this one up. On 343, we've got the James Bond Casino Royale hardcover, and they have a signed edition now and a signed and remarked edition. So if you just really love their Casino Royale hardcover, you can pick those up.
I don't think I have anything else in comics.
Okay, well, on page 358, under the Dynamic Forces, there's a Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 300, and it is a comic sketch variant by Adam Hughes, and then a exclusive variant signed by Adam Hughes. What I think is interesting about this is Adam Hughes commented online about how this is his first Spider-Man cover that he's done, and he forgot to sign it. when he produced the art. So Marvel digitally went in and added his signature to the book. So I assume he's literally signing this book for real this time. When you buy this. That's kind of funny. On page 378, we have Trump's Titans, Dark Donald's Mental. And so it looks like this is a sort
Riff
of
on metal.
satirical Trump book that is, riffing on the DC Metal storyline. We have the main cover, and then we have the Donald Who Laughs, the Donald Drowned, the Donald Devastator, the Donald With No Mercy, the Orange Death cover, the Ratings Machine, and the Don D-O-N Breaker.
Okay.
Will not be as good as Brock the Barbarian was, I'll tell you that right now.
So I saw Lou Ferrigno's picture on page 384, so convention goers might be interested in knowing that at Cape Comic Con, April 20th to the 22nd, I think are the dates. Lou Ferrigno's going to be there, and Reb Brown, Captain America.
Dude, Dan's pretty psyched about Reb.
I'm psyched to see Reb. On 401, we were talking about the Tick a little earlier. We have a collection of the Tick Big Blue Destiny, which was a good series they did. This is written by Eli Stone. He did some really good Tick stuff there for a while. I think it's probably right behind Ben Edlund as far as Tick work goes.
I didn't realize they released some more episodes of the Amazon Prime series, so that's out now.
Oh, on page 416 under Quirk Books, we have Manfred the Man. And it looks like this is a graphic novel about a world where people and cats have kind of switched places. So we have a tiny little man walking across a keyboard and a cat shoving him off of the keyboard to get work done. So might be a fun little story there. Under Self-Made Hero on 421, we have the Communist Manifesto hardcover, where Karl Marx is credited as one of the writers. So if you want a graphic novel adaptation of the Communist Manifesto, they can hook you up.
Page 435 from Titan Comics. There's a Warhammer 40K. I know there's a lot of people who are fans of that, the miniatures. So there's a new comic series, 4-issue limited series, based on Warhammer 40K.
Oh, back on 406, we were talking about the 90s earlier. Here we have Pizzasaurus Rex, which looks about as early 90s as you can get. And I believe it's by one of the storyboard artists on Archer. So that might be a good book.
Page 439, also from Titan. This is I believe these are resolicits on some books are just offered again. But Snowpiercer, I think they turned that into a movie, and it's actually Chris Evans, actually a pretty solid movie. The movie's solid enough that I almost want to read some of these. So I'll see if I actually pull the trigger on some of those. But Snowpiercer 1 hardcover, trade paperback, and then hardcovers of volumes 2 and 3 is being solicited in this catalog.
Yeah, I thought they were turning that into a TV show somewhere too. I heard they're supposed to be doing a Snowpiercer show. Was the book originally called something else?
I have no idea.
I think it might have been, but I can't tell you what it is.
The movie is what first, first caught my eye. So
on 450 with Tokyo Pop, we've got Nightmare Before Christmas, Zero's Journey. It looks like a manga Disney thing they're doing about the ghost dog from Nightmare Before Christmas. So if you're a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas, you might want to check that out. On 456 under Tomorrow's, we have Retro Fan number 1, and that was the magazine that Scott was referring to earlier with Lou Ferrigno on the cover.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow's does some really good books. They do the Jack Kirby Collector back issue and Alter Ego. This looks maybe like more of a catch-all kind of pop culture thing from them that they're starting up. It looks like they're talking to Lou Ferrigno, and they've got some, Marty Pasco looks like he's writing a column for him, and Andy Mangels and stuff, so probably be some cool old school stuff in there. Valiant, I don't think I've really got anything in here. I just think I saw the other day, like some more people are jumping ship, it sounds like, from Valiant maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
So probably not the best news for them.
Nope.
I would say not.
On 482, under Yen Press, we have some more manga. One that caught my eye is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? I'm going to say yeah. I mean, that's the title of the book, but I feel like I can answer that right now. Maybe don't need to read the whole thing.
Spoiler alert.
After that, we have Star Wars Lost Stars, which looks like a Star Wars manga book. I think it might be like a romance kind of story. If you want some more romance in your Star Wars. I think that's it for the comic section for me.
I've got nothing else.
In the book section, we have Peter Cooper Conversations softcover, which I believe it is interviews that Peter Cooper did earlier. Yeah, 'cause it looks like he's talking to R. Crumb, Von Bodie, William Gaines, Jack Kirby. So that might be an interesting book there. On the next page, we have the 10-cent War, comic books propaganda in World War II. It looks like it's kind of taken a look of Golden Age comics through the lens of propaganda for the war. There definitely was some of that. Some of it was pretty overt.
Is that a follow-up to that 10-cent Plague? Did you ever read that?
I did not.
Yeah,
it might
It
be.
was really good, 'cause just with the 10 cent in the title. That was really interesting.
On 502, we have I Am Gandhi, a graphic biography by Brad Meltzer and David Mack. I'm surprised this isn't in the comic book section, but, it looks like it's just sort of a biography of Gandhi and his life by some, talented creators.
Yeah, page 514, if you are excited to see Superman back with the red shorts, you can also put that on a t-shirt. So they've got the Action Comics 1000 Jim Lee t-shirt design. And then also on page 515, there's a very vintage Batman.
Yeah.
Probably being said that it's Bob Kane, but in actuality, it's probably like Jerry Robinson.
Well,
is that right?
this might have still been Bob Kane.
Might still be Bob Kane.
They have this
yeah.
listed as Dr. Death, so that might actually still be Bob Kane at that point. There's also a cool, they call it Batmobile import, where it's sort of like an old school Batmobile and sort of like Japanese looking text and layout there. After that, we have Dress for Success, which looks like it's sort of a back catalog for a lot of different graffiti designs. There's some cool Batman and Superman shirts in here, BPRD and TV Flash and Star Labs. The Death of Superman commemorative, which is the bloody S logo from back in the day, which I had a shirt that I bought in Metropolis, Illinois back in the day. And whenever somebody asked me where I got it, they thought I was lying to them when I told them Metropolis. Right after that, we've got our sort of geek chic section. Got a lot of Kingdom Hearts cosplay stuff here. We've got a big Keyblade replica. So if you're into Kingdom Hearts and cosplay, that might be for you. Got some fun sort of pop culture shirts and caps and different things. There's a cool Optimus Prime Transformer shirt with some Japanese text on it. On page 527, we've got some merchandise for the Pacific Rim Uprising, which hasn't come out yet as we're recording this, but will in a couple weeks, with a figure of the Kaiju Hakuja vinyl figure, which, as I was just telling our old friend Tyler, who did our theme song the other day, this looks nothing like the Ghostbusters Demon Dog. And I don't know why you would even bring that into the conversation.
Why would you bring it up? No.
It's completely different. This is a kaiju. It's a monster from another...
So it's much bigger.
It's from another dimension. It's not a crazy ghost dog.
Right. On 528, continuing the DC Gallery Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, they're $45 vinyl statues that are really nice and really affordable. And they're next in their ongoing series of busts based on the Batman animated show, and this is the Phantasm Unmasked. So a couple of nice affordable pieces there for collectors.
On 542, speaking of actually Ghostbusters, we have the Ghostbusters Egon Spengler Proton Pack Legacy Series replica. Scott, it's a bargain at $2,999.99.
I'll take two.
So
yeah.
Since they kept it under $3,000,
yeah,
I'm in.
Next to that, we have the Itty Bitty Hellboy mini bust statue, which is looks like it's based on the art of Art Balthazar from the Itty Bitty Hellboy they did with him eating a, to him, giant stack of pancakes. It looks like
Pancakes.
On page 573, we have Gold Lighten GX 32R 24 karat gold soul of Shogujin. It's a transformer that turns into a gold lighter.
Transformed into one.
So it's kind of neat. I mean, it's not Transformer brand, but it is a transforming robot. So there you go. On 576, we have Nico Cafe figure mascot charm collection, which is a bunch of cats on desserts. On like a piece of
Okay.
cheesecake and then some ice cream and some popcorn.
And you're talking about this. Why?
I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't know if I'd want a piece of cheesecake after a cat's been laying on it. I feel like that kind of ruins it. But if you want a little charm of that, make sure your order's in by March 29th.
Gotcha. Just flashing back real quick, past a statue here. 540 is Tweeterhead's Martian Manhunter, which, is a really nice looking piece. So we will be having that in there in the store. But, man, it looks really, really nice. I'm glad. Classic Martian Manhunter. Very cool.
On 582, we have some DC merchandise. We have the Batman-inspired built-up backpack. Does that look familiar to you, Mike?
Yeah, it kind of does. It's kind of what I haul my stuff around here. Yeah, a little bit.
Right below that, we have the DC Rebirth Finders Keepers, KEY, mini vinyl keychain figures. And I guess you're supposed to hide your keys in these?
I guess, or they're just key holders or something, like just you throw them in the base or
Probably
something.
just a dish for your keys is what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
We use
okay.
a bowl.
Yeah. But that's not as cool as
Exactly,
the Flash
yeah.
or Batman, keeping track of your keys.
Guarding your keys for you.
Yeah, we also have some graphic, I guess we'll call them short boxes here too, where we have a Harley Quinn, which is kind of hard to tell from the picture, but I believe that's based on the Art of Gilliam March. And then we have some Kingdom Come ones, which feature Alex Ross's covers on there. It look really nice.
Page 585, we have some Marvel high gloss canvas prints, Captain America,
Kinda
Doctor
cool.
Strange, Incredible Hulk, very minimalist
Yeah.
look to
Yeah.
them. I mean, you can just,
I like
like the Hulk is literally a green page with a block of white for his teeth and a black hair. So there's not a whole lot to them, but they're kind of nifty looking.
Yeah, there's also some nice short boxes on here too. We have a Captain America based on the Art of Adi Granov. And then there's a X-Men Teams.
I think it's an all new X-Men
Yeah.
1 issue.
Oh,
580. Wait, here it is. Go ahead. I want to hear about Mystery Science Theater 3000.
You're gonna hear about
And I talked about ROM a lot.
it. Well, people like this. This is relevant.
Stop recording.
Yeah, we have a Crow, T-Robot, and Tom Servo pins. These are based on sort of the Funko Pop versions they did a few months ago.
Yeah. And speaking of ROM, because ROM and Micronauts, I don't think have been in the last couple of catalogs now, so I guess those series are done at IDW. So
Oh, there was, what was that? There was something else in the merchandise I thought was odd. Oh, yeah, so on page 590, we have Assassin's Creed Bladed Gauntlet costume props. And I believe this is the mechanism they have in the games where it's a gauntlet where a knife pops out.
yes, they've had things like this before.
This seems questionable. This seems like cosplay that'll get you shot.
yeah.
if you're not careful. The last thing I had in the catalog was Hero Clicks.
Go ahead.
I haven't played for a few years, but they've got a series of Batman the Animated Series Hero Clicks coming out. If I were still playing, I would definitely get these. I don't know how much demand there is anymore for this kind of thing, but I'm surprised they're making it.
Yeah, well, it's a cool license for them to have and a
Yeah.
cool series for them to put into figures, so it probably will do pretty well.
I feel like it's something should have come out like maybe last year during the 25th anniversary
Yeah.
or something like it. The timing just seems odd to me. I'm not surprised they're making it, but why now? It's kind of the thing.
WizKids has always been weird about when they get stuff out. It's just
Yeah.
it doesn't always make a whole lot of sense. On page 596, for people who do enjoy the Dark Souls video game, they actually have a Dark Souls card game and a Dark Souls board game.
I think that was it for me in this
And
catalog.
I'm done as well.
So that do it, gentlemen?
That does it.
So-
All right. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us again on our monthly trip through the Previews catalog. Again, this is Mike Noe, owner-operator here at Campus Comics. Come in and see us at 816B East Main Street in Carbondale, Illinois. Give us a call at 618-457-6011. Store hours here are Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 6. I sound very unsure of my hours, don't I? But there's that. Follow us on Facebook. Give us messages there if you need anything. Just come in and see us. Thanks.
Scott Reed, burgcomics.com. I will also be set up at the Dyersburg Pop Culture and Comic Convention in Dyersburg, Tennessee, the weekend of March 17th, whatever that Saturday is that month. And then in April, I'll be at Cape Comic Con, which is April 20th through the 22nd. I think Campus Comics will be there as well. So you can come talk to Mike or myself, and we'd love it if you stopped in and said, hey, I'm listening to the podcast. It'd be nice to get a little feedback.
It would.
As Dan Brown, I'm online on Twitter, DeviantArt, and WordPress at Detective651. I will also be at the Cape Comic Con, but buying stuff. But always feel free to say hi, because I'm sure you recognize me from the podcast.
Yes.
All right. So what's the date on your show?
Okay, my show is August 18th. So
Okay.
Yeah,
August 18th. So we got a
Saturday.
we
got a few months before that one.
Might as well let people know about it now.
So the event's on Facebook. If you are interested in attending, please mark yourself as interested. We're going to start having some giveaways on the event page for people who are marked as going. So some convention gift certificates, some books. Our special guest is going to be Don Kramer. He's going to be there, so I'll be giving away some comics that you can have signed. I was able to get those from the back stock here at Campus Comics, so which was nice. So picked up some books there not too long ago.
Well, I guess that'll do it for this month. Thank you, gentlemen, and don't wait till next month to listen to us again. Just come on in and stop in and chat and check out what we got here. All right, thanks again, everybody.